Imagine stumbling upon a misty lake at midnight, where a chilling howl echoes through the fog, pulling you into a mystery that even the great Hercule Poirot can't resist. Chapter 1. The Arrival at Hollow. Lake, picture this. The year is 1935, and the renowned Belgian detective Hercule Poirot is aboard a rattling train slicing through the English countryside. He's not one for vacations, our meticulous Poirot. With his perfectly waxed mustache and his little gray cells always buzzing like a hive of bees. But here he is, persuaded by his old friend Captain Hastings to join him for a supposedly relaxing weekend at Hollow Lake Manor, a grand old estate tucked away in the misty hollows of Devonshire. Poirot, mon ami Hastings, had written in his enthusiastic letter, "You must come. Fresh air, good fishing, and no murders to spoil the fun. It's just what you need after that tiresome case in London." But if only Hastings knew that trouble has a way of following Poirot like a shadow as the train pulls into the quaint station of Hollow and Tholic. Wanda Lake, Poirot steps down, adjusting his immaculate Homburg hat and surveying the scene with those sharp green eyes of his. The air is crisp, laced with the scent of pine and damp earth, but there's an undercurrent of something else sunnies, perhaps. Aiding on the platform is Hastings himself, looking every bit the English gentleman in his tweed jacket and with a pipe clenched between his teeth. "Poirot, jolly good to see you, old chap," Hastings booms, clapping him on the back a bit too heartily for Poirot's liking. The manor's just a short drive away. "You'll love it," Lady Evelyn Carrington hosts. The most splendid gatherings. They pile into a waiting motor car, driven by a stoic chauffeur named Jenkins, who barely nods as he navigates the winding roads toward the lake. Along the way, Hastings chatters on about the guests. Lady Evelyn, the widowed hostess with a fortune from her late husband's shipping empire. Her charming niece, Amelia, a budding artist with a penchant for midnight sketches. Dr. Reginald Thorne, a retired physician who's oddly fascinated by local folklore. And a couple of others, including a shady businessman named Victor Lang and his glamorous wife Sophia. "Oh, and there's old Professor Hargrove," Hastings adds, "an expert on ancient myths. He swears the lake has a curse, something about a howling spirit that drags souls to the depths." Utter nonsense, of course, but it adds a bit of spice to the evenings. Poirot listens politely, but his mind is already worry. Curses, howls. He dismisses it as superstitious drivel. Yet he can't shake the feeling that Hastings' relaxing getaway might be anything but. They arrive at the manor as dusk falls, the building a sprawling gothic pile with ivy-cloaked walls and windows glowing like watchful eyes. Lady Evelyn greets them at the door, an elegant woman in her 50s with silver-streaked hair and a warm smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. "It's Monsieur Poirot. What an honor," she says, her voice smooth as silk. "All heard of your exploits. Do come in. Dinner will be served shortly." The evening unfolds in the grand dining room, where candlelight flickers over crystal and silver. Poirot, seated between Amelia and Dr. Thorne, observes the group with his usual acuity. Amelia's lively, her eyes sparkling as she describes her latest painting of the lake at dawn. "It's so serene, yet mysterious," she says, glancing toward the windows where the dark water lurks beyond. Dr. Thorne, a portly man with a bushy beard, leans in. "Ah, but have you heard the howl, my dear? Legend says it's the cry of a betrayed lover from centuries ago, luring the guilty to their doom." Victor Lang scoffs from across the table, his face ruddy from wine. "Poppycock. I'm here for business, not ghost stories." His wife, Sophia, draped in pearls, smiles thinly, her gaze darting nervously to the lake as the meal progresses. Roast pheasant, fine claret, and decadent trifle conversation turns to the manor's history. Lady Evelyn explains how her husband, Sir Reginald, drowned in the lake 5 years ago during a boating accident. "A tragic mishap," she says softly. "But life goes on." Poirot notes the slight tremor in her hand as she sips her wine. Hastings, ever the optimist, changes the subject to tomorrow's fishing expedition. "We'll catch some whoppers at Poirot." But Poirot, savoring his after-dinner coffee, feels a prickle at the back of his neck. The little gray cells are stirring. That night, as the guests retire to their rooms, Poirot stands at his window overlooking Hollow Lake. The moon casts a silvery path across the water. and all is silent until it isn't. A low, eerie howl rises from the hollow, echoing like a mournful wail. It sends a shiver down even Poirot's spine. Mon Dieu, what secrets does this lake hold? He turns away, determined to sleep, but sleep eludes him. Instead, he paces, pondering the guests' faces, the unspoken tensions at dinner. Morning. Dawn's foggy and chill. Poirot joins Hastings for breakfast in the sunroom, where fresh scones and tea await. "Did you hear that blasted howl last night?" Hastings asks, buttering his toast. "Gave me quite a turn." Poirot nods, his mustache twitching. "Oui, Hastings." It was ... unsettling. But perhaps it is merely a wolf, or the wind through the trees. Yet he knows better. Poirot does not believe in coincidences. The day unfolds with a tour of the grounds. Lady Evelyn leads the group along the lakeside path, pointing out the boathouse where her husband met his end. Amelia sketches furiously. Capturing the mist-shrouded willows, Dr. Thorne regales them with more tales. The howl is said to foretell death. Last heard before Sir Reginald's accident. Victor Lang laughs it off, but Sophia clings to his arm, pale as a ghost. Professor Hargrove, a wiry man with spectacles, pulls Poirot aside. "Monsieur, I've studied the legends. There's an ancient hollow beneath the lake, a cavern, where rituals were performed." The howl. It's no animal, it's a warning. Poirot's interest peaks. He questions the professor further, learning of a hidden artifact, a cursed amulet supposedly lost in the lake, tied to betrayal and revenge. Sir Reginald was obsessed with finding it, Hargrove whispers. Perhaps Eden Dan paid the price. As they return to the manor for luncheon, Poirot observes subtle glances, Amelia avoiding her aunt's eyes. Dr. Thorne watching Victor intently, Sophia fidgeting with her necklace. Afternoon brings the fishing trip. Out on the lake in rowboats, Hastings casts his line enthusiastically, while Poirot sits primly, more interested in the depths below. "Feel that tranquility, Poirot," Hastings says, but tranquility shatters when Amelia, in a nearby boat with Dr. Thorne, cries out, "Look, something in the water!" They all peer over, seeing a shadowy form beneath the surface, perhaps something more sinister. The group rows back, unsettled, the howl from last night fresh in their minds. By evening, tensions simmer. At dinner, arguments flare. Victor accuses Hargrove of spreading fear to sabotage a potential land deal for the estate. "You're after that amulet yourself," he snarls. Lady Evelyn intervenes, but her composure cracks. Poirot, silent observer, pieces together clues, a missing boat or from the accident, whispers of an affair, financial woes plaguing the manor, as night falls. The howl returns, louder, closer. Poirot, unable to resist, slips downstairs to investigate. In the library, he finds Amelia poring over old maps. "Monsieur Poirot," she gasps, "I think the howl is man-made a signal, perhaps." Before he can respond, a scream pierces the air from outside. They rush out to find Sophia collapsed by the lake, babbling about a ghostly figure. "It howled, ... and reached for me." Poirot kneels, examining the ground-fresh footprints, a discarded glove. "This is no ghost, mademoiselle," he declares. "It is the work of a human hand." The guests gather, accusations flying. Hastings looks to Poirot. "What now, old friend?" Poirot straightens. "Now we uncover the truth. The howl of Hollow Lake hides a secret, and Hercule Poirot will reveal it." With suspicions mounting and the lake's mysteries deepening, the stage is set for revelations that will test alliances and expose hidden motives. But that's for our next chapter, where the first crack in the facade appears. Chapter 2. The first crack in the facade. Dawn breaks over Hollow Lake with a heavy mist that clings to the water like a shroud, muting the calls of distant birds. Poirot, ever the early riser, is already dressed in his crisp suit, sipping black coffee in the manor's drawing room when the household stirs. The scream from the previous night has left everyone on edge. Sophia Lang is confined to her bed with a sedative administered by Dr. Thorne, who mutters about hysteria induced by the eerie sounds. Lady Evelyn, composed but with dark circles under Her eyes announces that breakfast will be served despite the unrest. We mustn't let folklore ruin our stay, she insists, though her voice wavers slightly as she pours tea. Poirot seizes the moment to probe gently, starting with Jenkins, the chauffeur, whom he corners in the garage while the others eat. Jenkins, a weathered man with calloused hands and a perpetual squint, reveals he's been with the family for decades. Sir Reginald was a hard man, sir, he says, polishing the motor car. Loved that lake. He'd been boating at all hours. Night of. The accident, I heard the howl myself, then a splash. By morning, he was gone. Poirot notes the man's hesitation when asked about visitors that fateful evening. No one unusual, monsieur? Perhaps a late caller? Jenkins shakes his head too quickly, averting his eyes. A clue, Poirot thinks the first thread to pull. Back inside. The group assembles in the library for what Lady Evelyn calls a calming discussion about the legends. Professor Hargrove spreads out yellowed manuscripts on the oak table, his fingers trembling with excitement. The hollow beneath the lake isn't just myth, he explains, pointing to faded diagrams of underwater caverns. Explorers in the 1800s mapped it, claiming echoes create that howl like a natural amplifier. But tied to it is the tale of Eliza Blackwood, betrayed by her lover in 1650. She cursed him, and now her spirit howls for vengeance on the unfaithful. Amelia, sketching in the corner, rolls her eyes. Uncle was fixated on that amulet, Eliza wore said. It held power. He dove for it often. Victor Lang, nursing a headache from last night's wine, snorts. Power, rubbish. Your uncle drowned because he was careless, not cursed. Poirot interjects smoothly, his accent precise. And you, Monsieur Lang? Brings you to this remote spot? Business, you say? Victor shifts uncomfortably, admitting he's negotiating to buy part of the estate for developmental resort, perhaps. Lady Evelyn needs the funds. The manor's upkeep is crippling. Lady Evelyn flushes, confirming the financial strain since her husband's death. Insurance helped, but not enough. Dr. Thorne chimes in, revealing he treated Sir Reginald for insomnia before the accident. He claimed the howl kept him awake, thought it was calling him. Poirot's eyes narrow. Insomnia could mean secrets weighing on the mind. As the morning wears on, Poirot suggests a walk to the boathouse to clear the air. The group agrees reluctantly, bundling against the chill. Along the path overgrown with brambles, Poirot spots something glinting in the mud, a silver cufflink engraved with initials VL. He pockets it discreetly, glancing at Victor, who seems oblivious. At the boathouse, a rickety structure jutting over the water, they examine the remaining boats. One oar is indeed missing, as Poirot recalled from his earlier inquiries. Amelia points out scuff marks on the dock. These look fresh, someone's been here recently. Hastings, trying to be helpful, suggests it might be poachers, but Poirot dismisses it, non mon ami. These marks are deliberate. Inside the boathouse, amid ropes and life preservers, Professor Hargrove finds an old diving mask tucked away. Sir Reginald's. He used it for his searches. Dusting it off, a crumpled note falls out. Meet me at midnight. The amulet is key. E, the group gasps. Lady Evelyn turns pale. E, could it be me? But I never... double quotes. Her denial rings hollow. Victor grabs the note. This proves nothing, just old rubbish. But Poirot secures it, his mind racing. An assignation. Blackmail. The plot thickens. Lunch is a tense affair in the dining room, with cold meats and salads served under the watchful portraits of Carrington ancestors. To join whispers to Poirot about seeing a figure by the lake tall, cloaked, vanishing into the mist, howled, then laughed like mockery. Dr. Thorne prescribes rest, but Poirot questions her privately afterward. Madame, your husband, does he have enemies here? She hesitates, admitting Victor's business dealings are shady. He's borrowed against the estate deal, and if it falls through, ruin awaits. He's desperate, monsieur. Another motive surfaces. Afternoon brings unexpected rain, confining everyone indoors. Poirot uses the time to inspect the manor's upper floors, with Hastings in tow. In Sir Reginald's study, locked until now, they find dusty ledgers showing debts. Mounting before his death, Hidden drawer yields letters, passionate ones, from a woman signing your devoted S. Sophia, or someone else. Poirot tucks them away.
Ow!
Downstairs, he confronts Victor in the billiard room. Producing the cufflink, he asks, "Yours, non?" Victor blanches. Must have lost it yesterday. But Poirot presses. Or 5 years ago, during a clandestine meeting, Victor storms out, muttering threats. As evening approaches, the rain eases, and the group gathers for tea. Amelia confides in Poirot by the fireplace. Aunt Evelyn argued with Uncle the night he died about money, infidelity. I heard raised voices.
Pact.
Dr. Thorne overhears, defending Lady Evelyn. She was devoted. The doctor-patient confidentiality binds me, but Sir Reginald had lapses. Poirot nods, piecing it. Betrayal, perhaps mutual. The professor adds that the amulet, if real, is said to grant wishes, but at a cost. Dinner is subdued, with lamb. Chops and vegetables eaten in near silence. The howl returns as dessert is served, closer this time, rattling the windows. Panic ensues. Jenkins bursts in, reporting the boathouse door ajar. The men rush out, lanterns in hand. There they find the missing oars mirrored with fresh mud and a torn scrap of fabric matching Sophia's shawl. Sabotage.
Please.
Poirot examines it. No ghost, but human interference. Back at the manor, accusations erupt in the drawing room. Victor points at Hargrove. "You're stirring this for your own gain. Want the amulet for your collection?" Hargrove retorts. "And you? Desperate for the land? You'd fake hauntings to scare us off?" Lady Evelyn breaks down, admitting Sir Reginald's obsession drove a wedge between them. He believed the curse, thought it punished his affairs. Dr. Thorne reveals he prescribed sedatives, but perhaps an overdose. Poirot calms them. Patience, mise amos. The facade cracks, but the full picture emerges slowly. Dinner is subdued, with lamb chops and vegetables eaten in near silence. The howl returns as dessert is served, closer this time, rattling the windows. Panic ensues. Jenkins bursts in, reporting the boathouse door ajar. The men rush out, lanterns in hand. There they find the missing oars, mirrored with fresh mud and a torn scrap of fabric matching Sophia's shawl. Sabotage? Hastings wonders. Poirot examines it. No ghost, but human interference. Morning light reveals more. Jenkins missing. His quarters empty. Search party forms, scouring the grounds. They find him by the lake, unconscious, a blow to the head. As Dr. Thorne tends him, Jenkins mumbles, "Saw the figure ... howling device ...
At.
Poirot's gray cells ignite a mechanical howl. He inspects the area, discovering footprints leading to a hidden cove, where a crude horn apparatus is concealed and reads amplifying sounds through the hollow. Reviving Jenkins confirms, Sir Reginald built it to scare treasure hunters. But, that night, someone used it against him. Who? Motives swirl. Lady Evelyn for inheritance, Victor for land, Sophia for jealousy, Thorne for covering malpractice, Hargrove for the artifact, Amelia for family secrets. Poirot gathers everyone. The first crack reveals deception, but deeper fissures. Await. With the mechanical device exposed, alliances fracture further, leading to confessions and alibis that don't quite hold. Yet the true killer lurks, and in our next chapter, a midnight dive uncovers buried truths. Chapter 3. The midnight dive twilight descends on Hollow Lake Manor like a velvet curtain, the air thick with unresolved suspicions after the discovery in the cove. Poirot, undeterred by the ransacking of his room, convenes the guests in the drawing room under the pretense of a strategy session. "Misamis," he announces, his voice steady. The deceptions multiply. But tonight, we delve deeper literally. Dive into the lake may illuminate what the howl conceals. The group exchanges uneasy glances. Lady Evelyn protests the danger, but Victor Lang volunteers eagerly, perhaps too eagerly. Insisting his swimming skills make him ideal, "I'll retrieve whatever's down there, end this farce." Dr. Thorne offers medical supervision while Professor Hargrove provides a makeshift map of the underwater hollow, sketched from his manuscripts. Amelia, pale but determined, agrees to monitor from the shore with lanterns. Hastings, loyal as ever, claps Poirot on the shoulder. "Count me in, old boy. Can't let you face the depths alone." As midnight approaches, the party assembles at the boathouse equipped with ropes, a diving bell improvised from an old barrel, and lanterns casting flickering shadows on the water. The lake's surface is mirror still, reflecting the stars like scattered diamonds. But an undercurrent of tension ripples through the air. Poirot, though no athlete, oversees preparations meticulously, ensuring the ropes are secure and the signals clear. One tug for ascent, two for trouble. Victor dons a woolen swimsuit and goggles, boasting of his prowess in Mediterranean waters. "This English puddle is nothing," he brags, but Sophia clutches his arm, whispering warnings. "Don't go, darling." The curse. He brushes her off, plunging into the inky depths with a splash that echoes unnaturally loud. From the boat, Poirot and Hargrove watch the rope uncoil, marking Victor's descent toward the marked hollow, a submerged cavern entrance about 20 feet down, according to the professor's calculations. Minutes stretch like hours. The only sounds are the lapping water and distant owl calls. Then, a single tug. Victor signals he's reached the bottom. Amelia, on shore, waves her lantern in acknowledgement. Suddenly, the rope jerks violently, two tugs following in rapid succession. "Trouble," Hastings shouts, hauling with all his might. Dr. Thorne leans over, shouting encouragement. While Lady Evelyn paces the dock, wringing her hands, they pull Victor up, gasping and spluttering, his face ashen under the lantern light. Clutched in his hand is a muddy objecta, small, ornate. Box, encrusted with lake weeds. Found it. In the cavern, he coughs, collapsing onto the boat. "Some attacked me down there. A current, or ... hands?" Poirot examines him quickly. No wounds, but bruises on his arms suggest a struggle. The box, once cleaned, reveals intricate carvings of waves and howling figures, locked with a rusted mechanism. The amulet's casket, perhaps. Hargrove breathes, his eyes wide. Back at the manor, warmed by the fire and brandy, Victor recounts his ordeal, navigating the narrow cavern mouth, spotting the box wedged in rocks, then feeling an inexplicable pull as if the water itself rebelled. "Like the Howl come alive," he mutters. Poirot pries open the box with a letter opener, revealing not an amulet but a bundle of water-damaged papers, letters, deeds, and a diary page. The group crowds around as he reads aloud in the lamplight. The diary in Sir Reginald's hand details his discovery of the hollow years ago. The amulet is myth, but the cavern hides treasure, smuggled gold from the war. "I must secure it before others learn." The deeds show hidden ownership transfers, implicating a partner in shady dealings. One letter, addressed to Sir Reginald, threatens exposure. "Pay up, or the Howl will claim you, T. Thorne." The doctor shifts uncomfortably, denying involvement. Initials mean nothing, could be anyone. Dawn creeps in as Poirot dissects the finds. The gold, if real, explains the financial motives. Sir Reginald's accident now smells of murder to protect the secret. Sophia admits overhearing Victor discussing the lake's potential, with investors draining it for development. He knew about the treasure rumors, she confesses, glancing fearfully at her husband. Victor explodes. "So what? I came to buy land, not kill." Amelia reveals she found similar papers in her uncle's study weeks ago, but hid them to protect the family name. He was smuggling shameful. Poirot paces, connecting dots. The attack on Victor, was it staged? He inspects the bruises, self-inflicted perhaps, to divert suspicion. Questioning resumes over breakfast of porridge and eggs, served in strained silence. Jenkins, recovered from his injury, joins them, admitting he knew of Sir Reginald's dives. Helped him haul up crates, once gold bars, shiny as sin. But on the fatal night, Jenkins saw a shadowed figure tampering with the boat. Thought it was the master himself, until the splash. Mid-morning, Poirot organizes a search of the cavern's edge from shore, using poles to probe shallows. They unearth a rusted chain, possibly from anchoring smuggled goods. Hargrove authenticates it as 18th century, tying to older legends, but Poirot focuses on modern crimes. Dr. Thorne, cornered, confesses prescribing extra sedatives to Sir Reginald not overdose, but to calm his paranoia over the treasure. He feared betrayal by his partner. Ooh, the letters point to a V, Victor. But Lang arrived only recently. No, Sophia interjects. Victor's father, old business associate of Sir Reginald, died bankrupt. Victor seeks revenge, or restitution. Lunch. Of sandwiches and soup fuels, heated debates in the sunroom. Victor admits his family's ruin stemmed from Sir Reginald's double cross in a deal gone sour. He promised shares in the gold lied. I'm here to claim what's owed. Lady Evelyn gasps. You pushed him that night? Victor denies it, but his alibi weakens. He claims sleep, yet Sophia recalls him absent. Amelia defends her aunt, revealing Lady Evelyn's own secret, an affair with Thorne, started after Sir Reginald's neglect. I saw them by the lake. Thorne blushes, admitting comfort turned to love, but swears no murder. Afternoon explorations lead to the manor's attic, where dusty trunks yield more clues. A map marking the cavern's gold cache, annotated with warnings. Beware the partner, it reads. Poirot deciphers a code in the margin's coordinates for a second entrance hidden in reeds. They trek there, finding a concealed grate, recently disturbed. Inside, remnants of crates suggest recent looting. Woo woo woo. Been harvesting the gold, Hastings observes. Footprints match boots from the boathouse Jenkins. The chauffeur flees when confronted, but Hastings tackles him. Usme Jenkins sobs, helped Sir Reginald store it, then after his death, took bits to sell. But I didn't kill him, Saw. The doctor arguing with him that night. Thorne crumbles. We fought, he accused me of stealing. Pushed him in anger, but it was accident. The boat capsized. I panicked. Poirot shakes his head. Non-doctor. The oar was removed, deliberately premeditated. Evidence mounts. Thorne's glove found earlier, his knowledge of the sedatives to disorient Sir Reginald. But Sophia interrupts with a twist. I saw Amelia by the boat that night, jealous of the inheritance. Amelia weeps. No. Argued with uncle about selling the manor, he refused. As evening shadows lengthen, dinner of fish from the Lake Coronic. Choice serves as backdrop for Poirot's revelations. He assembles clues. The T letter was Thorne's, demanding payment for silence on the affair and smuggling. Victor's cufflink places him at the scene scouting for gold. But the true killer? Lady Evelyn, driven by betrayal and debt. You tampered with the boat, madame, using the Howl device to lure him out, then pushed him in. She breaks. He deserved. It affairs lies, ruining us. Yet Poirot pauses. Weight fibers on the oar-match Hargrove's coat. The professor confesses, I sought the amulet, but found gold. Sir Reginald caught me. Struggle ensued. He fell. Accident. Chaos erupts. Alibis shatter. Poirot calms them. All have motives, but one hand struck. The dive revealed papers, but the real treasure is truth. Night falls with another Howl natural. When this time? Poirot watches from shore as police summoned quietly arrive by boat.
Arrests.
Loom. Thorne for the push, aided by Lady Evelyn's sabotage. Twists abound. With confessions clashing and evidence conflicting, the dive's buried truths surface more questions than answers. In our next chapter, alliances shatter in a storm of accusations. Chapter 4. The storm of accusations lashes Hollow Lake Manor as a storm rolls in from the hills. Thunder rumbling like an ominous drum roll over the tense breakfast table. The revelations from the midnight dive have left the guests fractured, their faces etched with distrust as they pick at toast and kippers. Poirot, seated at the head, sips his tisane, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the crackling atmosphere. The police, delayed by the weather, haven't yet arrived, leaving the manor a pressure cooker of secrets. Yesterday's confessions, Dr. Thorne's push, Lady Evelyn's sabotage, Hargrove's struggle, hang heavy. But Poirot senses the puzzle is incomplete. Nizamis, he announces, folding his napkin precisely. Today we unravel the tangle of motives. Each of you accuses another, but the truth lies in what you conceal. His eyes sweep the room, lingering on each guest. The morning begins with Poirot orchestrating a confrontation in the library, where the storm's gray light filters through tall windows. He produces the torn fabric from the boathouse, now confirmed as Sophia's shawl. Madame Lang, explain its presence. Sophia, her elegance frayed, stammers that she wandered to the lake that fatal night. Drawn by the howl, but saw nothing, only dropped her shawl in fright. Victor snaps, "You never told me." Her eyes flash. "You were gone, Victor, sneaking about for your precious deal." The accusation shifts suspicion back to Victor, whose cufflink places him near the crime, insists he was scouting land. Boundaries. Not plotting murder, but his temper betrays him when Hargrove suggests he sought the gold to settle old family scores. Poirot pivots to Amelia, whose nighttime sketching raises questions. "Mademoiselle, you claim innocence, yet you argued with your uncle. What drove you to the boathouse?" Amelia twists her hands, admitting she confronted Sir Reginald about selling the manor to fund her art studies abroad. He laughed, called me a dreamer. I left him alive. Her tears seem genuine, but Poirot notes her sketchbook, found in her room. It contains drawings of the lake with cryptic notes. The Howl knows. Artistic fancy or coded guilt. He presses gently, and she confesses to overhearing Victor and Lady Evelyn discussing a secret deal. Land for silence about the smuggling. Lady Evelyn, cornered, admits she considered Victor's offer to save the estate but denies murder. "I loved Reginald, despite his flaws. I tampered with the boat to scare him into staying ashore, nothing more." Her voice cracks, but Dr. Thorne interjects, confessing he withheld key details. "That night, I saw Jenkins lurking after our argument. He knew too much about the gold." Jenkins, sullen in the corner, admits to stealing small amounts but swears he only watched Sir Reginald drown, too scared to act. "The howlet froze me. Thought it was the curse." Midday, as thunder shakes the manor, Poirot leads a search of Victor's luggage, suspecting he's hidden stolen papers. They find a ledger detailing his father's dealings with Sir Reginald, confirming a betrayed partnership. A scrawled note in Victor's hand reads, "The lake owes us." Confronted, Victor admits seeking the gold, but insists he arrived after Sir Reginald's death. "I wanted justice, not blood." Sophia, however, reveals a damning detail. Victor returned that night with wet shoes, claiming a walk in the rain. Poirot's mustache twitches. Rain hadn't fallen that night. Lunch. A meager affair of soup and bread fuels more accusations. Hargrove accuses Dr. Thorne of falsifying Sir Reginald's medical records to hide an overdose, hoping to protect Lady Evelyn. Thorne counters that Hargrove's obsession with the amulet drove him to search the lake, disturbing evidence. Amelia points at Jenkins, suggesting he sabotaged the boat for a larger share of the gold. Jenkins retorts that Amelia's sketches map the cavern. Perhaps she sought the treasure herself. The room erupts, voices overlapping, until Poirot claps sharply. Silence. "You accuse like children, but the truth requires order." Afternoon brings a break in the storm, and Poirot insists on revisiting the hidden cove. Armed with lanterns and the professor's map, they find the horn apparatus tampered with, wires cut, suggesting someone silenced it recently. Footprints, fresh despite the rain, lead to a nearby shed. Inside, they uncover a satchel containing gold coins and a knife with dried blood. Sir Reginald's. Hastings gasps. Poirot examines it. The blade matches wounds described in the coroner's report, overlooked as accidental. Whose hand wielded it? Jenkins collapses, admitting he found the knife in the lake but hid it to avoid suspicion. Didn't want to be blamed. At the manor, tea is served in the parlor, but tempers flare. Sophia accuses Lady Evelyn of orchestrating the murder to secure insurance money, citing overheard whispers about debts. Lady Evelyn retaliates, revealing Sophia's flirtations with Sir Reginald years ago. "You wanted his wealth."
Out, Sophia.
Slaps her, and Victor pulls her back, shouting, "Enough lies." Dr. Thorne tries to mediate, but his own confession, pushing Sir Reginald in anger, ignites distrust. Hargrove, clutching his manuscripts, mutters about the curse punishing them all. As evening darkens, Poirot gathers everyone in the dining room, where a simple meal of stew awaits. He lays out the evidence: the knife, the tampered horn, the ledger, the shawl, the cufflink, Amelia's sketches. Each points to guilt, yet none completes the picture. Someone orchestrated this chaos to obscure the truth. He questions Hargroves. Coat fibers on the oar, forcing a new admission. The professor borrowed Sir Reginald's boat to search for the amulet. I thought it was Eliza's spirit. Poirot scoffs. No ghosts, only greed. A sudden crash interrupts, a window shattered by a branch in the storm. As they secure it, Poirot notices a glint in the debris. A locket engraved with SR, Sir Reginald's initials. Inside, a photo of a younger Lady Evelyn, but the clasp is broken, suggesting it was torn off. Madame Poirot says, holding it up, "You were there." She collapses, sobbing. I followed him, begged him to stop diving. He shoved me. The locket fell. I left him alive. But her story wavers under scrutiny, her fingerprints on the knife's handle. It's lifted by Poirot using powder from the study. Night deepens, and the howl returns, fainter now, as if the lake itself tires. Poirot assembles the group once more, piecing together the timeline. Sir Reginald, sedated by Thorne, argued with multiple parties of Lynn. Thorne, Hargrove, perhaps Victor. The boat, sabotaged by Evelyn, capsized under Thorne's push. But the knife suggests a final act. Jenkins' silence, Amelia's sketches, Victor's motives all swirl in Poirot's mind. He declares, "The storm of accusations reveals much, but one among you struck with intent. The locket and knife point to a heart betrayed." As police lights finally flicker through the rain, signaling their arrival, a scream echoes from upstairs. Sophia, clutching a letter found in Victor's coat, "Finish what father started." Victor lunges for it, but Hastings restrains him. Poirot reads it aloud, a plan to kill Sir Reginald for revenge. Yet Sophia's handwriting on the envelope suggests complicity. The room freezes, accusations now a tangled web, with the police at the door and motives laid bare. The manor braces for arrests. But Poirot's gray cells hum, one final piece eludes him. In our next chapter, a hidden witness emerges, shattering the fragile alibis. Chapter 5. The hidden witness. The storm has passed, leaving Hollow Lake Manor cloaked in an eerie calm, the air heavy with damp earth and unspoken fears. Dawn paints the lake in soft pinks, but the guests are far from serene, gathered in the drawing room where Poirot stands before the fireplace, his hands clasped behind his back. The police, delayed by flooded roads, are now mere hours away, their impending arrival tightening the noose around the suspects. Last night screamed Sophia's. Discovery of the incriminating letter has left everyone rattled, with Victor and Sophia eyeing each other warily across the room. Poirot, his green eyes gleaming, announces Misamis. A new thread has emerged, a witness, hidden until now, who saw what transpired on that fatal night. Today, we uncover their truth. Breakfast is skipped, appetites lost to tension. Poirot begins by questioning the manor's staff, starting with Mrs. Baxter, the housekeeper. A wiry woman with gray hair pulled tight in a bun. In the pantry, surrounded by jars of preserves, she fidgets as Poirot probes. "You were here 5 years ago, madame. What did you see by the lake?" Mrs. Baxter hesitates, then admits she glimpsed a figure rowing out after midnight, just before the howl. "Couldn't see who, too dark. But I heard a quarrel, then a splash." "Why stay silent?" "Feared losing my place, sir. Reginald was a hard master." Her eyes dart to Lady Evelyn, who sits rigidly in the drawing room, unaware of the betrayal brewing among her staff. Poirot shifts focus to the groundskeeper. Mr. Cole, a grizzled man with a limp, found tending roses near the manor's gate. Cole reveals he maintained the boathouse and noticed odd comings and goings that week, someone tampering with the horn device, though he assumed it was Sir Reginald testing it. Night he died. "I saw 2 shadows, one slight near. The doc thought it was lovers, not killers." Poirot presses. "Did you recognize them?" Cole shakes his head, but mentions a glint of metal, perhaps a blade, in the moonlight. A vital clue, yet maddeningly vague. Returning to the drawing room, Poirot confronts the group with these accounts. A witness saw shadows, heard quarrels. Who among you was there? Victor, face flushed, accuses Sophia of sneaking out to meet Sir Reginald, citing her old flirtations. She fires back. Your one-to-talker letter proves you planned. Revenge. Amelia, clutching her sketchbook, suggests the slight figure could be Jenkins, who knew the lake's secrets. Jenkins, still shaken from his attack, denies it, claiming he hid in his quarters after spotting the Horn's sabotage. Dr. Thorne, sweating, insists he returned to the manor after his argument, while Hargrove mutters about the curse clouding. Memories. Mid-morning, Poirot leads a smaller group, Hastings, Amelia, and Hargrove, to the lake's edge. Seeking traces of the witness's shadows, they find scuff marks near a willow tree, overlooked before, and a cigarette stub. It's brand foreign French, perhaps, unlike the English ones smoked by Hastings or Victor. Curio, Poirot murmurs, pocketing it. Nearby, a tangled fishing net, discarded years ago, bears traces of oil suggesting recent use. Not for fish, I think, Poirot says, eyeing the group. Amelia recalls her uncle's habit of smoking French cigarettes, a gift from a business associate. Could the witness have been closer to Sir Reginald than admitted? Lunch a tense affair? Of cold cuts and tea, sees Poirot, probing Sophia further. Madame, your shawl was found, your handwriting on the letter. Were you the slight figure, she admits, wandering to the lake, drawn by the Howl, but claims she saw only mist and fled? Her story wavers when Poirot reveals the cigarette stub her brand, Galoises, from her Paris days. I smoked there, yes, but I didn't kill, she cries. Victor, furious, accuses her of betrayal, revealing she stood to gain from a secret deal with Sir Reginald's estate, a trust fund, undisclosed. Poirot's grey cells hum. Sophia's presence at the lake is confirmed, but her role remains murky. Afternoon brings a search of the manor's east wing, rarely used since Sir Reginald's death. No. In a dusty guest room, Poirot finds a hidden panel. Behind a mirror, revealing a cache of letters, love notes between Sir Reginald and an unknown M. Not Sophia, nor Evelyn, but Mrs. Baxter. Confronted, the housekeeper breaks down, admitting a brief affair ended before the murder. He promised me security, then cast me aside. I saw him row out that night followed, begged him to reconsider. He laughed, then the howl came, and I ran. Her tears confirm her as the slight figure, but the tall one? Poirot gathers everyone. In the library as evening falls, the lake now a dark mirror outside. He lays out the new evidence, the cigarette, the net, Mrs. Baxter's confession. Two figures, one slight, our housekeeper.
One tall yet unidentified?
The net suggests. Entanglement, literal or figurative. Hargrove, nervous. Admits handling nets to retrieve artifacts but denies violence. Dr. Thorne confesses to smoking Galoises occasionally. Borrowed from Sophia, placing him near the lake. Victor's silence grows suspicious. His height matches the tall figure, and his letter suggests intent. Dinner. A somber roast chicken affair is interrupted by a knock. Constable Harrow, arrived at last, his notebook ready. Poirot briefs him privately, sharing the cigarette and net, but urges delay until the witness puzzle is solved. Harrow agrees, stationing himself discreetly. Poirot then stages a bold move. He recreates the howl using the repaired horn device, its wail echoing across the lake. The sound flushes out a reaction. Jenkins bolts from the table, confessing he saw the tall figure. It was Mr. Lang, sir? Tall, smoking, arguing with the master? Victor roars denial, but Sophia collapses, admitting she saw Victor strike Sir Reginald with the knife. Thinking she'd covered it by hiding the blade, Poirot halts the chaos. Madame, your loyalty betrays you, Monsieur Lang. Your letter and presence seal your guilt. Yet the net reveals oil traces match Jenkins' tools, suggesting the chauffeur entangled the body to hide it. Jenkins weeps. I only hid. The knife after didn't want blame. The tall figure Victor struck in revenge. The slight Mrs. Baxter witnessed but fled. Jenkins cleaned up. But Poirot pauses. One detail nags the French cigarette in Thorne's hand. As night deepens, Harrow prepares arrests Victor for the strike, Jenkins for concealment, Sophia for complicity. Yet Poirot, staring at the lake, senses a final twist. The witness saw truth, but another hand guided the plot. Nets oil linking to the manor's garage, a new suspect emerges. In our next chapter, a secret pact unravels, tying the crime to an unexpected mastermind. Chapter 6. The secret pact morning breaks over Hollow Lake with a deceptive calm, the water gleaming under a pale sun as if mocking the turmoil within the manor. To guests, now virtual prisoners awaiting Constable Harrow's reinforcements, gather. In the conservatory, where the scent of damp ferns mingles with their unease, Poirot, impeccable in his pinstripe suit, stands by a potted palm, his sharp gaze dissecting the room. Victor Lang sits sullenly, Sophia avoiding his eyes, while Mrs. Baxter hovers near the door, her composure fraying. Relations of the hidden witnesses, Mrs. Baxter and Jenkins have tightened the web, but Poirot's instincts scream of a deeper conspiracy. Misamis, he declares, his voice cutting through the murmurs. A pact was forged in shadows, binding some of you two murder. Today we expose its architects. The day begins with Poirot revisiting the garage, where the oil-stained fishing net was linked to Jenkins' tools. Amid crates and engine parts, he uncovers a ledger tucked behind a spare tire Sir Reginald's, detailing payments to an unnamed partner labeled C. Not Cole, the groundskeeper, but someone closer. Poirot questions Jenkins privately in the chilly morning air. The chauffeur is still shaken. Admits Sir Reginald paid him to maintain secrecy about the gold smuggling, but hints at another figure. Someone high up, sir, gave orders to keep the horn working, scare off nosy folk. Poirot's eyes narrow. A mastermind orchestrated the Howl's terror. In the library, Poirot confronts Professor Hargrove with the ledger. Monsieur, your knowledge of the lake's hallows, did you share it with Sir Reginald's partner? Hargrove, clutching a worn book on folklore, denies involvement, but admits advising Sir Reginald on the cavern's acoustics to amplify the howl. Purely academic, he insists. Yet a slip reveals he received payments for consulting, recorded as C in the ledger. He profited from the smuggling, Poirot accuses. Hargrove crumbles, admitting he helped map the cavern for a cut, but swears he never killed. Mid-morning, Poirot gathers the group in the dining room, producing the ledger. A pact existed, Sir Reginald, Jenkins, and C, united by greed. But betrayal led to death. Lady Evelyn, pale, denies knowledge of the smuggling, yet her signature appears on a deed transferring lakefront land to a shell company. I signed blindly. Reginald handled finances. She protests, Dr. Thorne, shifting uncomfortably. Admits prescribing sedatives to Sir Reginald under pressure from an unnamed source, fearing exposure of his affair. They threatened to ruin me, he mutters. Poirot pounces. Who is they? Lunch. A strained affair of vegetable soup and crusty bread sees accusations fly. Amelia suggests Hargrove's consulting masked blackmail, using his knowledge to extort Sir Reginald. Sophia, desperate to deflect from Victor, points to Lady Evelyn. You controlled the estate, knew every deal. Victor, handcuffed by Harrow's orders, snarls that Thorne's sedative set the stage for murder, a convenient accident. Poirot silences them, revealing a new clue, a coded telegram found in Sir Reginald's study, sent to C days before his death. Gold. Secured. Meet at Hollow. End it. The reply in Hargrove's handwriting confirms a rendezvous. Afternoon brings a search of Hargrove's room, yielding a journal detailing his obsession with the amulet, not gold. Its power as real controls fate, he wrote, describing a plan to confront Sir Reginald for stealing it. Poirot finds a vial of sedative powder, identical to Thorne's prescription, hidden in Hargrove's suitcase. You drugged him, monsieur, to seize the amulet? Hargrove denies it, claiming he found the vial in the boathouse, planted to frame him. But his fingerprints on it tell another story. As evening nears, Poirot stages a confrontation by the lake, where the horn apparatus stands silent. He activates it, its wail piercing the dusk, startling the group. Amelia gasps, recalling a night she saw Hargrove tinkering with the device. He said it was research. Hargrove admits adjusting it to scare treasure hunters, protecting his share. But Poirot reveals a second device, a smaller horn, hidden in the manor's attic, wired to amplify sounds remotely. A partner operated it, coordinating the murder, he says, eyeing Lady Evelyn. Dinner, a grim affair of poached fish, unfolds in silence until Poirot produces the telegram's envelope, addressed in a feminine hand not Sophia's, but Lady Evelyn's. Madame, you were he accuses. She collapses, admitting she managed the smuggling to save the manor, but claims Sir Reginald's death was unplanned. I only wanted the gold safe, Hargrove suggested the Howl to scare. He was reckless, Hargrove counters. You ordered the sedatives, pushed me to act. Thorne, desperate, confesses he supplied extra doses, believing Evelyn would protect him. The pact emerges. Lady Evelyn, Hargrove, and Thorne, bound by greed and secrets, conspired to control the gold. Sir Reginald's refusal to share sparked betrayal, Victor's attack, Sophia's cover-up, and Jenkins' cleanup were opportunistic, but the mastermind was Evelyn. Poirot reveals a final clue, a ring found in the attic near the second horn, engraved with Evelyn's initials. You signaled the Howl, madame, luring him to his doom. She sobs. I meant to frighten, not kill. Thorne pushed him. Hargrove struck. Constable Harrow, now joined by officers, takes statements as night falls. Poirot pieces it together. Evelyn planned, Thorne sedated, Hargrove struck with the knife during a struggle, believing Sir Reginald betrayed them. Victor's blow was secondary, fueled by revenge, with Sophia and Jenkins covering tracks. A pact of greed, Poirot muses, destroyed by its own weight. As arrests loom Evelyn for conspiracy, Thorne for manslaughter, Hargrove for assault, Poirot gazes at the lake, the Howl now silent. Yet one detail nags, Amelia's sketches, mapping the hollow precisely. Did she know more? In our next chapter, a final confession appends the case, revealing the heart of the conspiracy. Chapter 7. The final confession. The sun hangs low over Hollow Lake, casting long shadows across the manor's lawns as a tense silence grips the household. Constable Harrow's officers patrol the grounds, their presence a stark reminder that arrests are imminent. The guests, confined to the drawing room, sit in uneasy clusters, Lady Evelyn twisting a handkerchief, Hargrove staring blankly at his manuscripts, Thorne nursing a glass of brandy, and Victor and Sophia whispering furiously in a corner. Amelia, alone by the window, sketches the lake with feverish intensity, her pencils scratching like a heartbeat. Poirot, standing by the mantelpiece, adjusts his tie and clears his throat. Mies Amos, he says, his voice a quiet thunder. The pact has been exposed, but one truth remains hidden. A final confession will shatter the lies and reveal the heart of this crime. The morning begins with Poirot examining Amelia's sketchbook, its pages filled with meticulous drawings of the lake's contours and cavern entrances. Mademoiselle, he says, holding up a sketch marked with precise coordinates. These are no mere artworks. You mapped the hollow eye? Amelia, her eyes red from sleeplessness, admits she studied her uncle's diving logs to understand his obsession. I wanted to know what drove him to the lake, she says, voice trembling. His notes mentioned a guardian of the gold, someone watching always. Poirot's gray cells spark. A guardian suggests deeper involvement, perhaps beyond the known conspirators. He shifts to the conservatory, where he questions Mr. Cole, the groundskeeper, again. Cole, pruning a rosebush, reveals a detail overlooked. On the night of the murder, he saw a lantern flicker in the manor's tower, signaling across the lake. Thought it was Sir Reginald, but he was already out there rowing. Poirot's eyes gleam, a signaler in the manor, coordinating with the killer. He inspects the tower, a dusty spiral of stone, and finds a charred lantern wick and a scrap of paper with a single word. Now. The handwriting matches none of the suspects, suggesting an outsider or a clever disguise. Midday, Poirot gathers the group in the library, laying out the sketchbook and the tower's clues. A guardian watched, signaled, and perhaps struck. "Who among you played this role?" Lady Evelyn, voice hoarse, denies signaling, insisting she was in her room. Thorne claims he was too drunk on sedatives to climb stairs, while Hargrove swears his focus was the amulet, not signals. Victor, still cuffed, accuses Sophia of manipulating events to secure her trust fund. She retorts, "You planned the murder." "Not me?" Jenkins, under Harrow's watch, mumbles about seeing the lantern, but thought it was poachers. Lunch, a sparse affair of cheese and biscuits, fuels more tension. Poirot produces the now note demanding handwriting samples. Reluctantly, each complies, but Amelia's hand shakes as she writes. Her script eerily close to the notes. Confronted, she breaks down. "I signaled yes, but not to kill. Uncle asked me to watch the lake, to warn him if anyone approached. The Hollow. I saw Victor and Thorne arguing with him, then the Howl I signaled to stop them." Her confession shifts the narrative. Amelia, the silent observer, unwittingly aided the crime. Afternoon sees Poirot and Hastings retrace the lake's edge, seeking evidence of the Guardian's vantage point. Near the cove, they find perch a rocky outcrop with a clear view of the boathouse and tower. Scratched into the stone is a symbol, a crescent moon matching one in Amelia's sketches. "She knew more than she admitted," Poirot murmurs. Back at the manor, he questions her alone in the study. Tearfully, Amelia reveals she discovered her uncle's smuggling after finding his logs. "He swore me to secrecy, said the gold would save us. I signaled to protect him, but that night everything went wrong." Poirot presses, "Who else knew?" Amelia hesitates, then points to Mrs. Baxter. "She overheard us threaten to tell unless I helped her." The housekeeper summoned admits blackmailing Amelia for a share of the gold, but denies murder. "I signaled once earlier to warn Sir Reginald of Hargrove's snooping." "That's all?" Poirot's mind races. To signalers, Amelia, and Baxter complicate the timeline. As evening falls, dinner is a grim affair of shepherd's pie, barely touched. Poirot stages his final reveal in the dining room, lanterns casting long shadows. He lays out the crescent moon symbol, the now note, and Amelia's sketches. "Mademoiselle Amelia, you were the guardian, bound by loyalty to your uncle. But your signal triggered the chaos." He turns to Mrs. Baxter. "And you, madame, used her to protect your own gain." Baxter confesses to signaling first, alerting Sir Reginald to Hargrove, but claims she fled when the howl sounded. Poirot reconstructs the night. Amelia signaled from the tower, mistaking Victor's approach for a threat. Thorne, sedated and arguing, pushed Sir Reginald. Hargrove, seeking the amulet, struck with the knife in a scuffle. Victor, seizing the moment, landed a blow for revenge. Lady Evelyn's sabotage ensured the boat's failure, while Baxter's earlier signal set the stage. Jenkins and Sophia covered tracks, driven by fear and greed. A chain of betrayal, Poirot declares, with Amelia's signal the spark. Constable Harrow prepares charges. Evelyn for conspiracy, Thorne for manslaughter, Hargrove for assault, Victor for attempted murder, Sophia and Jenkins for accessory. But Amelia's role in witting catalyst draws Poirot's pity. "You sought to save, yet ignited doom." She sobs, clutching her sketchbook. Officers lead the guilty away. Poirot finds a final clue in Amelia's drawings, a sketch of the amulet, hidden in the manor's chapel. Rushing there, he finds it a simple stone pendant. No power but myth. The true curse, he muses, is human greed. Night settles, the lake silent at last. With the guilty exposed, Poirot prepares to leave, but a letter arrives, hinting at a new mystery tied to the amulet's origins. In our next chapter, an unexpected visitor brings secrets that threaten to reopen the case. Chapter 8. The unexpected visitor. A faint mist clings to Hollow Lake as morning unfolds. The manor's somber mood mirrored by the gray sky above. The arrests of Lady Evelyn, Dr. Thorne, Hargrove, Victor, Sophia, and Jenkins have left the household. Hollow, with only Amelia, Mrs. Baxter, and Mr. Cole remaining under Constable Harrow's watchful eye. Poirot, preparing to depart with Hastings, adjusts his coat in the foyer, his mind still turning over the amulet found in the chapel, simple stone, yet heavy with myth. As he contemplates the train back to London, a sharp knock at the manor's door disrupts the silence. A stranger stands there, a tall, gaunt man in a travel-worn coat, his eyes shadowed but sharp. "Monsieur Poirot," he says, voice low, "I am Elias Blackwood, descendant of Eliza, and I've come about the amulet." Poirot's mustache twitches. "Mon Dieu," a new thread emerges. "Let us hear your tale." Elias is ushered into the parlor, where a fire crackles weakly against the damp. Over tea, he reveals his purpose, a historian tracking the Blackwood family curse, tied to the amulet and the lake's howling legend. "My ancestor Elisa cursed her betrayer in 1650, he explains, producing a leather-bound journal. Her amulet, stolen by a Carrington, was hidden in the hollow. Sir Reginald found it, and I believe it cost him his life." Amelia, listening, clutches her sketchbook, her drawings of the amulet now eerily significant. Poirot, intrigued, asks, "Monsieur, why come now?" Elias admits, receiving a letter weeks ago postmarked from the manor, urging him to claim the artifact before it claims another. Poirot examines the letter, its handwriting unfamiliar, not Amelia's, nor any arrested suspects. "Curio," he murmurs, noting its cryptic warning, "the Howl lives. Retrieve the amulet or face Eliza's wrath." He stinks, skeptical. Suggests it's a prank, but Elias counters with evidence. A family record detailing Eliza's ritual, binding the amulet to the lake's acoustics. It amplifies emotions, greed, betrayal driving men mad. Mr. Cole, hovering nearby, nods grimly, recalling Sir Reginald's obsession after finding the pendant. He changed, Sir Haunted, like... Mid-morning, Poirot leads Elias, Amelia, and Hastings to the chapel where the amulet rests on the altar. Its plain stone surface belies its weight in the hand, etched with faint runes. Elias deciphers them. Vengeance eternal. He claims Sir Reginald contacted him years ago, offering to return the amulet for a price, but vanished, likely killed before the exchange. Poirot's gray cells hum. The letter's sender knew the amulet's location, suggesting an insider still at large. Lunch. A simple affair of broth and rolls sees Amelia confessing a new fear. "I drew the amulet from Uncle's sketches, but someone else knew it was here." Poirot questions Mrs. Baxter, who denies sending the letter, but admits overhearing Sir Reginald's talks with a historian by phone. "He sounded scared, monsieur, said the amulet brought doom." Cole, clearing plates, adds that he saw a stranger near the lake months before the murder, matching Elias's description. Elias denies visiting then, but his nervous glance betrays him. Afternoon brings a search of the manor's guest logs, stored in the attic. Poirot finds an entry from 6 years ago. E. Blackwood historian, checked in for one night. Confronted, Elias admits he met Sir Reginald to discuss the amulet, but left when negotiations failed. "I wasn't here when he died," he insists. Yet a photograph in the journal shows Elias by the lake, dated the week of the murder. "You lied," Monsieur Poirot accuses. Elias falters. "I came to warn him the curse is real. I saw the Howl's effect, heard it myself." As evening nears, Poirot organizes a test at the cove, using the repaired horn apparatus. Elias assists, explaining how the hollow amplifies sound, mimicking Eliza's curse. The howl echoes, chilling the group. Amelia gasps, recalling a sketch she made of a man resembling Elias near the boathouse years ago. "You were watching?" she accuses. Elias admits he returned secretly, hoping to steal the amulet, but found Sir Reginald already dead. The boat capsized. I fled, fearing blame. Dinner, a tense meal of roast lamb, unfolds in the dining room. Poirot lays out the evidence, the letter, the photograph, Elias's visit. "You, monsieur, stirred the pot, perhaps triggering the pact's collapse." Elias confesses, sending the letter to himself, using a forged hand to justify his arrival and pressure the manor's occupants. "I wanted the amulet returned to my family to end the curse." But Poirot reveals a final clue, a second letter found in the chapel, addressed to Amelia. "Hide it, or the howl takes you." Why the handwriting matches Elise's journal, Poirot deduces Elias's role. Not a killer, but a catalyst. His presence years ago spooked Sir Reginald, fueling paranoia that led to betrayal by Evelyn, Thorne, and Hargrove. You lit the fuse, monsieur, with your talk of curses. Elias, shaken, agrees to surrender the amulet to authorities, hoping to break the cycle. While Constable Harrow, noting the new evidence, delays further arrests, intrigued by the amulets. Influence as night falls, the lake lies silent, the howl stilled. Poirot, holding the amulet, muses, a trinket, yet it wove a web of death. Amelia, relieved but haunted, vows to destroy her sketches. Elias departs, his journal left behind, hinting at other Blackwood secrets. With the case seemingly closed, Poirot prepares for London, but a faint sound, a whisper, not a howl, echoes from the lake. In our next chapter, a buried relic resurfaces, threatening to unravel Poirot's conclusions. Chapter 9. The buried relic. The morning sun struggles through heavy clouds over Hollow Lake, casting a muted glow on the manor's ivy-clad walls. With the main conspirators, Lady Evelyn, Dr. Thorne, Hargrove, Victor, Sophia, and Jenkins in custody, the house feels like a shell. Its remaining occupants, Amelia, Mrs. Baxter, and Mr. Cole, moving through their tasks with hollowed eyes. Poirot, suitcase packed for the afternoon train, lingers in the library. The stone amulet now in Constable Harrow's possession for evidence. Elias Blackwood's departure last night left lingering questions, his journal hinting at secrets beyond the amulet. As Poirot sips his final coffee, a groundskeeper rushes in, breathless. Monsieur, we found something by the lake, a relic, buried near the cove. Poirot's eyes spark. Mon Dieu, the lake yields one last secret. Let us investigate. The group hurries to the cove, where Mr. Cole kneels beside a freshly dug hole, unearthed during routine clearing. Inside lies a rusted iron box, its lid engraved with the same crescent moon symbol from Amelia's sketches. Poirot, gloved hand steady, pries it open, revealing a bundle of sodden papers and a small tarnished dagger, its blade etched with runes matching the amulet's. Another piece of Eliza's legacy, Poirot murmurs. The papers, barely legible, include a map of the lake's hollows, annotated in a spidery hand. The second relic guards the truth. Amelia gasps, recognizing the script from her uncle's logs, but with an unfamiliar flourish. Not his writing, she whispers. Someone else knew. Back in the parlor, Poirot spreads the papers under lamplight. The map details a hidden chamber within the cavern, unmarked in Hargrove's charts. A note signed E.B. suggests Eliza Blackwood hid a second artifact, a dagger said to bind the curse. Constable Harrow, intrigued, delays his departure to examine the find. Could this change the case? He asked. Poirot nods. It suggests another player, perhaps manipulating events from afar. Mrs. Baxter, clearing teacups, recalls Sir Reginald, muttering about a second blade during his dives, fearing it held power over the amulet. Mid-morning, Poirot leads Amelia and Cole to the boathouse, seeking clues to the chamber. They find a loose floorboard concealing a diver's logbook, Sir Reginald's, detailing a failed search for the binding dagger. An entry reads, E.B. warns of betrayal. Trust no one. Is Elias Blackwood more involved than he claimed? Poirot questions Cole, who admits seeing a boat on the lake months before the murder, rowed by a figure he couldn't identify. Thought it was a poacher, but it moved to deliberate, like the dagger's discovery suggests someone else sought it. Perhaps to control the curse or the gold. Lunch, a quiet affair of sandwiches and tea, sees Amelia poring over the map. This chamber, it's deeper than Uncle dared go, she says. Tracing its coordinates, Poirot organizes a final expedition, borrowing diving gear from the village. With Harrow's approval, he and Cole, the strongest swimmer left, prepare to explore the cavern's depths. Amelia insists on joining, citing her maps. I need to know what he died for. Against Poirot's protests, she dons a diving suit, her determination fierce. Afternoon descends into the lake's icy embrace. Poirot, tethered to the boat, watches as Cole and Amelia dive, their lanterns flickering below. Minutes later, They surface, Amelia clutching a stone tablet. Its surface carved with a warning. The dagger seals the hollow's wrath. Cole reports the chamber was empty save for the tablet, but fresh scratches suggest recent entry. Beat us to it, he pants. Poirot's mind races Elias, perhaps, or another. Back at the manor, the tablet's runes match the daggers, confirming their link. Poirot questions Mrs. Baxter again, suspecting her silence hides more. Under pressure, she admits overhearing Sir Reginald's phone calls to a scholar, who claimed the dagger could break the curse or amplify it. He sounded foreign, monsieur, not Elias. Poirot recalls the French cigarette stub from earlier. Could an outsider not arrested have orchestrated the relic's hiding? As evening falls, Daenerys, simple spoonfolds, intense silence. Poirot lays out the dagger, tablet, and map. The buried relic points to a mastermind, guiding Sir Reginald's fate. He theorizes the dagger, tied to Eliza's curse, was sought by someone beyond the pact, using the Howl to manipulate events. A search of the manor's postbox reveals a new letter arrived today, addressed to Poirot. The dagger is mine. Leave, or the Howl returns. The script matches the EB, but with a modern flourish not. Elias's Poirot stages a trap, placing the dagger in the chapel under Harrow's guard. Late at night, a shadow moves a figure, cloaked. Attempts to seize it. Harrow apprehends them. A local antiquarian, Mr. Durand, a Frenchman dealing in black market relics. Confronted, Durand confesses, I advised Sir Reginald on the dagger, sent notes as EB to scare him into selling. When he refused, I stirred the others, Evelyn, Hargrove knowing their greed. He used the Howl device learned from Hargrove to sow chaos, hoping to claim both amulet and dagger. Poirot pieces it together. Durand, the true EB, manipulated the pact, inciting murder indirectly. His letters fueled Sir Reginald's paranoia, leading to the fatal night. You, monsieur, wove the final thread, Poirot declares. Rowe arrests Durand for conspiracy, the dagger and tablet as evidence. Amelia, shaken, burns her final sketch. Of the lake. It's over, she whispers. As night cloaks the manor, the lake lies still, its secrets buried once more. Poirot, satisfied, prepares to depart, but a faint ripple on the water hints at deeper mysteries. In our final chapter, Poirot's departure unveils one last twist, tying the lake's curse to a new beginning. Chapter 10. The last twist, the dawn over Hollow Lake bathes the manor in a soft, golden haze, as if the water itself exhales a sigh of relief after days of turmoil. Hercule Poirot, his suitcase neatly packed in the foyer, polishes his pocket watch, ready to depart with Captain Hastings for the London-bound train. The arrests of Lady Evelyn, Dr. Thorne, Professor Hargrove, Victor Lang, Sophia Jenkins, the cunning antiquarian Mr. Durand, have untangled a deadly web woven from greed, betrayal, and the myth of Eliza Blackwood's cursed amulet and dagger. Amelia, Mrs. Baxter, and Mr. Cole, the manor's last occupants, move like ghosts through the halls, their futures uncertain as the estate's dark legacy looms. As Poirot exchanges final words with Constable Harrow on the manor steps, a faint ripple disturbs the lake's glassy surface. A sealed envelope slips under the front door, addressed to Monsieur Poirot in a shaky, unfamiliar scrawl. Mon Dieu, he whispers, his green eyes narrowing. The lake guards one final secret. Poirot summons Amelia, Mrs. Baxter, and Mr. Cole to the drawing room, where morning light filters through heavy curtains, casting long shadows. The envelope's wax seal bears the crescent moon symbol tied to Eliza Blackwood's curse, a chilling echo of the relics unearthed. He slices it open with a letter opener, revealing a single sheet of thick sketching paper, Amelia's brand. She confirms with a stifled gasp. The message, inked in haste, reads, "The curse lives in the blood. Seek the heir." No signature, but the ink's fresh metallic scent suggests it was penned within hours. Who dares play such games? Poirot demands, his voice a quiet blade. Amelia, clutching her sketchbook, swears she didn't write it, her hands trembling. Mrs. Baxter, wringing her apron, claims she saw no one approach the door, while Cole recounts spotting a cloaked figure near the gate at midnight, vanishing into the mist. Harrow, sensing a final twist, delays his departure. His notebook ready in the library, Poirot examines the paper under a magnifying glass, noting tiny charcoal flecks embedded in the fibers Amelia's sketching supplies. But the handwriting, jagged and urgent, matches no known suspect. This is no jest, he declares, but a cry from someone tied to the lake's heart. He questions Cole further, who describes the cloaked figure as slight, perhaps female, moving with purpose. Like she knew the grounds, soar faster than a fox. Poirot's mind races, recalling the watcher in Amelia's Scacchiza. Figures she'd seen years ago, singing by the lake. Could this be the heir? He retrieves Elias Blackwood's journal left behind, finds a cryptic note. Eliza's blood endures in the village, guarding the hollow. A descendant, perhaps, with motives yet unveiled. Mid-morning, Poirot and Harrow venture into the village, seeking leads on this heir. At the local inn, the barkeep, wiping glasses, mentions a recluse named Clara Wren, a woman in her 60s living in a cottage by the lake's edge. She's odd, always humming tunes, claims her kin owned this land before the Carringtons, he says. Poirot and Hastings trek to Clara's cottage, a sagging structure draped in ivy, where she greets them with wary eyes, clutching a locket, etched with runes like the amulets. "I knew you'd come," she says, voice low. "The lake told me." Over bitter tea, Clara reveals her lineage. Her great-grandmother was Eliza Blackwood's secret daughter, hidden to escape the curse's shame. The amulet and dagger are ours. Sir Reginald stole them, woke the Howl. I wrote the note to end. It. Poirot presses, "Mademoiselle, were you at the lake that night?" Clara's eyes flicker, but she denies direct involvement, admitting only to watching from her cottage, singing to calm the spirits. She shows a diary, its pages filled with pleas to the lake to reclaim its relics. "I warned Sir Reginald by letter return them or pay." He laughed. Poirot notes the diary's script matches the envelopes, confirming Clara as the author. But her presence at the manor's gate raises questions. Mrs. Baxter, summoned to the cottage, recalls Clara visiting years ago, begging Lady Evelyn to surrender the amulet. She was wild-eyed, spoke of curses, Baxter says. Clara nods. "I wanted justice, not blood." Lunch back at the manor, a sparse spread of bread and cheese sees Amelia poring over her sketches.
Howl.
One depicting a woman by the lake, labeled singer. "It's her," she whispers, recognizing Clara. Poirot produces the locket. Borrowed from Clara, its runes, echoing the dagger's warning. Vengeance eternal. Mistaker's warnings, mistaken for the curse, fueled Sir Reginald's. Paranoia, sparking the deadly pact. Harrow suggests Clara incited Durand's schemes, but her diary lacks evidence of contact. Instead, an entry mentions a keeper in the village, someone guarding the relic's secret. "Another player?" Hastings asks. Poirot's mustache twitches. "Perhaps." Afternoon brings a final search, guided by Clara's diary, which hints at a hidden cache near the lake's oldest willow. Poirot, Amelia, and Cole comb the roots, unearthing a small tin box containing a faded photograph, a young Clara with a man resembling Sir Reginald. Dated decades ago. Clara, brought to the manor, confesses, "He was my cousin, a distant Carrington. We loved once, but he chose wealth over me. I swore to protect Eliza's legacy." Photograph's back bears a note. "The heir must end it." Poirot deduces. Clara, as Eliza's descendant, saw herself as the curse's guardian, using the Howl's myth to scare off looters like Durand as evening nears. Poirot organizes a test at the cove, reactivating the horn apparatus. Clara, reluctant, demonstrates her singing a haunting hum that blends with the hollow's echo, mimicking the howl. "I sang to warn, not kill," she insists. Poirot finds a thread from her shawl in the willow's roots, dated to the murder night by Harrow's analysis. Confronted, Clara admits standing by the lake, singing to deter Sir Reginald's dive. "I saw the boat tip, heard shouts, Thorne, Hargrove, Victor. I fled, fearing the curse took him." Her song, mistaken for the howl, amplified the chaos, triggering the fatal clash. Dinner, a somber affair of roast beef and potatoes, unfolds in the dining room, lanterns casting flickering shadows. Poirot lays out the final evidence. Clara's note, the photograph, the shawl thread. Mademoiselle Wren, you were the heir, your song the spark that ignited murder. Clara weeps, surrendering her locket, only wanted the relics safe, to bury Eliza's pain. Poirot reveals the last twist. The keeper was Clara's late cousin, Sir Reginald's confidant, who hid the dagger to protect her. Durand exploited their feud, stirring the pact's collapse. Mademoiselle, we're no killer, but you're. Shadow shaped the crime, Poirot says gently, Harrow satisfied. Rules Clara's actions non-criminal, her warnings mere catalysts. The relic's amulet, dagger, Lockhart sealed as evidence, destined for a museum to end their curse. Amelia, vowing to sell the manor, burns her final sketch of the lake. No more secrets, she declares. As night falls, Poirot and Hastings board the car to the station, the lake silent at last. Poirot gazes at the water, musing, the howl was human greed, love, vengeance. The true curse lies within us. A faint breeze stirs the surface, but no sound emerges. The mystery of Hollow Lake is solved, its shadows dispelled. Thanks for diving into this chilling tale with Poirot. If you loved unraveling the Howl's secrets, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more mysteries. Drop a comment, did you spot the heir's twist? See you in the next case.